Yo, what's up guys? How's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a fantastic day, guys. Today has been a very nice day for the markets. I did call it, I actually put out an alert in VIP. Let's go ahead and pull that chart up. It was pretty damn cool. I actually gave the signal to buy at this level here, so 6,246, couple dollars up or down. It's a pretty good signal. I mean, we bought basically at the bottom, and we've been able to write it up pretty nicely. I had someone, this was from a couple days back, making over 50%. That was pretty cool. And someone else actually made 1 Bitcoin. For me today, my profit was 62%. I'm now up to, I think, 70% on my long, which I gave the signal for in VIP. So doing pretty well. And you know what, guys? This inverse head and shoulders has pretty much played out fully now. I just want to check, are people actually... Oh, I didn't check about the audio as well. Can we just make sure everything is okay before I carry on? This will be... I'm guessing it's fine because no one's talking about audio and all that. But yeah, we've had this inverse head and shoulders play out extremely well. Like I said from the beginning of when this was forming, I don't give these patterns much credit simply because you can paint them in so many different places. But this pattern has played out to a T. I've had to adjust the lines a couple of times, but apart from that, we've been rising according to this pattern very nicely, and we've pretty much completed it by now. All we need to see from now is to reach 6,800, which I think is almost inevitable at this point, and then see if we break above and go up from that neckline. The neckline here being the $6,800 resistance line. Even a couple days ago, I think I made a video, saying, has this bounce from 6,200 saved Bitcoin? And it looks like it has, because, since the beginning of, I don't know, like 3-4 weeks ago, I've been calling that the futures reversal will make us go bullish. And the triple bottom gives us some really good, a very good baseline to go bullish. And both of those things have happened. And since then, we have been setting higher lows. This is so weird in terms of a chart, I'm sure. Actually, I need these lines again. So I'm going to take off this head and shoulders pattern. I don't think we're ever going to look at it again, just because it's completed now. Switch off all these indicators as well. Just basic charting patterns do tell us that we've been setting higher lows. And we are testing the highs again now to potentially, all good, okay, thank you, to see if we can set a higher high within this rising wedge. Now, like I said, it's a rising wedge, and so there's a very good chance we break down. In the video I put out yesterday, got some really good feedback on that. Thank you to everyone who did watch it. I mentioned that this rising wedge could, extend all the way up to about $8,000. We can still break down. So really, I don't know what's going to happen that far in the future, but what I am focusing on are other things that I can predict with relative accuracy. And right now, just going off what I mentioned a couple videos ago, where what was it? The more times you test a level, the more likely you are to break it. Now, other traders, other analysts will say the more times you test a level, the less likely you are to break it, just because that level is still holding. So really, it goes both ways, and this is where TA is really open to interpretation. I personally think, judging by all of the fundamentals, this whole area of movement for Bitcoin has been far more natural than previous price movements. We've finally had some decent volume come in. Yesterday, we were dipping into the 9 billions. We were at the low 10 billions for 24-hour volume. And today, we have seen nearly a $4 billion increase in volume, 40% jump, which is a pretty big deal. The volume is still low by the standards I would like to see. For a pump like this, oh god, especially for, a $500 pump, I would have really wanted to see more volume coming in today with this market. But that is okay. This is a good starting point. I want to see, first of all, us getting above 15 billion. That's where I'm going to start sitting a little bit more comfortable in my chair. But also, once we see $20 billion volume, and assuming the direction of movement is still going up, that's when I'm going to have a lot more confidence in this market. Now, as for this more likely to test thing, I do think we're going to break 6,800 this time. I'm still seeing a lot of analysts in the space being very bearish in that they're setting their shorts up for 6,800. It kind of surprises me. I think that it looks pretty clear right now that we're going to breach 6,800. Now, of course, I could be wrong. None of this is financial advice, but just judging by the turn of moves we've had, I mean, this movement we've seen, maybe save for these past 3-4 hour candles, have been very good indicators of humans entering the market and giving us some more natural movement as we climb back higher. We're now seeing volume coincide with that. I mean, 3 consecutive volume bars that are green. We haven't seen this in so long. This, I think, yeah, the last time we saw this was back in end of June, you know, and that was also a very definitive trading area, you know, when we also gave that long signal in VIP to go long at 5,800 up to about 64. Very good profits made there as well, and I just think we're repeating something like that now. It looks pretty good, and because of that, I do think we're going to breach 6,800. Now, if we do, I've already got a long, I've given the signal, I've also been talking about what I'm going to do afterwards, and what I am looking for is a break above 6,800 with volume continuing to increase. And after that, I am going to be looking to set a long to catch it and ride it up to 7,800. I think what I said in the previous video has a fairly high chance of playing out. Of course, we're going to take this by the day. I mean, it literally could take a period of months to get to $8,000. And you know what? The slower it does, the better it is, because when we're recovering from a bubble pop, we need to see long-term stability and controlled movements. We don't want to see the extreme volatility that we saw last year, because that leads to unsustainable runs, and it has a very high chance of leaving us at a high level and then dropping us right down for another 6-month bear market. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Not very soon anyway, but, you know, like I said last video, if this was the bottom, the end of the bubble pop, it would make sense that we make a very slow ascension upwards. And so this five-wave Elliott wave impulse goes up to, what is this, September, was it? No, this is August, my bad. This goes up to the end of August, and that would mean this is going to take, you know, a month and a half to get there. So a very long time. It's, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot better once we breach 6,800. I do think the rise from 68 to 78 will be pretty fast, but I think it also is a wise decision to place these Elliott waves so far apart from each other in terms of how long they take place in. So that's the main, you know, that's the basic stuff covered. Now I want to go into the indicators here, switch on my alpha indicator presets, and you know, we've, like I said, this Ichi cloud could act as a launch pad to send us up, and it has done exactly that. I'm actually really happy with this price movement, because what we had was a high at about 6,300, and at that area rejection from 64, and then we formed somewhat of a falling wedge, a bullish pennant. This was a very good pattern. Again, that indicates that we're finally getting a little bit more human trading action and not so much being dominated by the bots, which means whichever direction we go in is the direction that is realistic for Bitcoin. It's the true valuation, if you want to call it, for Bitcoin at the time. And so leading into that, there was a pump. It, you know, supported by the Ichi cloud. I've said this many times. I didn't think it could be as useful as an indicator at first, but we have seen signs of a reversal. We've seen a double bottom. We've now gotten the EMA crossover on the 4-hour. Let me turn these two on. So we've got the EMA 13 rising above the EMA 48. This is generally a bullish sign. Now guys, lately, like I've said, even in my EMA crossover, I mean my EMA tutorial, crossovers have not been a reliable indicator, because if you use them to tell you when to buy and sell, it would have told you to sell at a price of 6,300, and it would have told you to buy at a price of between 6,300 and 6,600. So lately it has not been a good indicator if you purely use it just to buy at when it tells you to, or sell when it tells you to. But if you use it for only one of those things, for example, if you used it to sell over here, or rather to short over here, you would have had a lot of good profits down here. And if you use it to buy over here, assuming we rise above 6,800, you'll also have very nice profits when we rise above into the $7,000 range. I have someone asking about the news. A lot of BitConnect talk, strangely. If we breach 6,800 and stick above it, I'll buy you fish and chips for Friday night. That sounds amazing, Type. I actually had fish and chips that day, and it was better than I expected, which is always pleasant. But yeah, so as for the news, there's a lot of news about BlackRock with this ETF news. I think that's what you might be talking about. Now, personally, it's important, but it's not what I like to look at. I am not the kind of guy that will pull up a Cointelegraph article and read it and see how it's going to affect the market. That's not to say it's a bad thing to do. It's definitely, I mean, the more you consume, the more content you consume within this market, the more you're going to be aware of what happens. And so I should be doing it. But the reason I don't is that fundamentals like this do not impact the market, A, immediately, and B, at all, because of manipulation. Now, there's some speculation going around that today's pump was caused by news like BlackRock ETF news, but nonetheless, it's not something that's a valuable, or rather, easily reproducible indicator, shall I say, for markets, and so it doesn't interest me. I just want to know the basics of what's going on, and apart from that, I rely on my TA skills and analyzing sentiment and different things like that. That's what counts as being far more important for me, and it's why I don't really look at things like the news as much. I just need to know the basic things of what's going on. If it looks like something that could stick around, then I'll maybe look into it. But that's my view on that. As for a retrace, someone asking about that, I don't know about a retrace at the moment. What we could see is bot action. Unfortunately, like I said, we've been getting a lot of human traders lately, but we could see some complete sideways movement here, and I would like to see it. You know, this is now leading into the bearish stuff. I've been very bullish this whole video, and I purposefully organize it as such. You know, go through the bullish things first, then go through the bearish things. And guys, what we've got for the bearish outlook right now is still 4-hour indicators, obviously all crossing bullish and providing us support, but on the 1 day we are in heavy EMA resistance, and the last time we tested it we did get rejected. Now, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think we are going to continue to go up, but EMA resistance has been a very valuable indicator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections from the EMA ribbon on the 1 day candles, and so conventional trading, like I said in the last video, would tell you to short as high as possible, and we are now reaching what could possibly be the peak of this trading range. Cup and handle on the 30 minutes. Andrew, I don't look at 30-minute charts. I do see what you're talking about, but a cup and handle will never be important on a 30-minute chart. Rejected at the 50-day moving average. I don't know about that. I don't think we've been rejected, have we? I mean, we got rejected from 6,700 only briefly, but the same thing happened when we tested 6,400. So I'm, you know, in 6,700, that wick we have is not an important level. I mean, there is no resistance. I mean, there's a little bit, but really it's not, you know, we've broken 66, and that was a much harder level to break. So, personally, I am looking at 68 now. I think it's inevitable that we rise that high. There's no real resistance in this area. Judging by the fact that we haven't been sent down already, that does tell me that we're not going to completely dump very quickly, you know, like within the next hour or so, or the next couple of hours. You know, for a retrace, it would make sense, but Bitcoin hasn't been doing it. So I don't know about that. I don't know what to say about that. I think we could either maybe form another falling wedge or consolidate a little bit, potentially just give one more 4-hour candle doji, and then pump up to 6,800. But like I said, I don't want this to happen too quickly. If we look at the RSI, we're at a 78 reading. Now, like I said, the RSI has not been a reliable indicator for Bitcoin as of late, but it's still worth considering, especially when it hits this kind of a level. Bitcoin has not been overbought for a very long time. Last time it was overbought was the beginning of July. So that was about a fortnight ago. So it's a good thing to look at. It's a slightly good thing to look at, and at the moment it is telling us that we're due for a bit of a retrace, and I do want to respect it in this case. You know, for example, if you're going to ask me if you should open a long here, I would say no, because you know, it just doesn't make sense to open a position on leverage, on BitMEX or whatever, without doing so at a key level. You know, if you're going to do it between two key levels, this case being 6600 and 6800, doesn't really make sense to me. You're just, you know, you're getting a bit too excited. Dimitri, can you show the VPVR? Yes, I was actually going to go to that, so let me pull up the VPVR here. This ties in, you know, with the bearish sentiment, really, because this is going to be a tough level to breach. We are now entering this area of a lot of volume being traded, and 6800 is not going to be an easy level to breach. You know, we consider this volume here. I mean, once we found support at 6100, like I said, we would, because of this VPVR indicator. It's been a relatively easy ride because volume does drop off, but now we're seeing much higher volume than we even saw at 6100, and this volume does tell us, you know, how much is being traded at this price point, and the more volume, if you're below it, does indicate that we could be getting a bit of serious resistance. I saw someone asking about how to join VIP at the beginning. I'm sorry I didn't get to answer your question. For those of you who are interested, go ahead in the description and join the Telegram channel. It is completely free, and at the bottom of the posts I put in the Crypto Mafia Gold channel, you can find my username there. Just click on that and message me from there. I want to take your questions now. I'm pretty much done with everything I wanted to cover. I think if you haven't watched my video from yesterday, which was an altcoin predicting Bitcoin's price movement, definitely go back and watch that at the end of this stream, because I don't want to cover everything I already said, but it was a very important video. That is why I didn't stream for it. I wanted to make sure I had zero distractions, and I had a lot of notes to make sure I don't miss out on anything important. That said, I did miss out on something important, which I put in the comments. But guys, if you do have your questions now, please drop them, and I will get to them. So what if Bitcoin blows past 6800? Comedy Edge depends when it does it. Either way, I think it probably will happen, and when it does happen, we are going to start looking at levels like 7400 and 7700 as our next targets for profit taking. Now bear in mind, the higher we go, the more polarized we'll be to be bullish, the more talk there is going to be of all-time highs and Lamborghinis and moons. I saw someone's comment at the beginning of this video, I think it was Snore Crypto, you know, how my titles are getting more bullish every day. So, you know, Moon, Pluto and all that, that was pretty funny. I might have to do that for the next one. Jayan, yeah man, VPVR is actually a paid indicator, which is a really bad thing, because I don't think it should be behind the paywall, but you can get a free trial for TradingView, the paid one, by using the link in the description I have for it. Cup and handle 4-hour chart. No, I'm not giving that any. I mean, there is one. Well, there's a cup, not a handle yet. I'm not giving that any. What's the word? Consideration, though. You know, if we form a falling wedge here, that would actually be a cup and handle, so that would make sense. But you can't look at cup and handles on such a. I mean, this is playing out over the course of what, 2 weeks, 1 week or something. So. There is no point in calling this a cup and handle, even though it might look like one. When you're talking about a cup and handle, you're talking about something that forms over weeks or months, and this obviously does not align with that. If we get rejected for 6800, setting up for ascending wedge, Michael Baker, very good question. I haven't even been discussing the possibilities of a 6800 rejection. It is extremely likely, well, it's very likely that we get rejected from 6800, and if that does happen, I think that's going to completely exhaust the bulls. The sellers have been getting exhausted, but that's a lot of confirmation for sellers, for bears. I will be included in that. If we do get rejected by 6800, because it shows that we're not going to go higher, and so sellers are not going to get better prices to sell Bitcoin. If it's a rejection from 6800, I think it could be a very quick dump down, and 6100 would not hold, 6400 would not hold, 66 would not hold. I think we would go back down to 5800 and break through and go down into the low 5,000s. I think that is what would happen. My bearish will be my outlook will be extremely bearish if we do get rejected from 6800, which is why we've got to be very careful and exercise good risk management. The members in VIP who have had their long to open have already been given my exit targets. because it is very good practice to be closing positions, even if we are gonna, and like I said, I do think we are gonna rise above 6,800. Even if we do, it still makes sense to sell some before that level, just to make sure that, just in case you're wrong, you've at least had some unrealized profits turn into realized profits that are actually in your account, and maybe liquid, I guess. We aren't going to get rejected from 6,800. I wouldn't say it with so much assuredness, if that's a word, but yeah, no, I do agree with you. Down to take a look at Digibyte. Today I am, because I have seen it's had some nice movements. Yeah, I mean, it's doing pretty well. This actually looks like the Dow Jones a little bit. Yeah, I mean, there must be news about it. I don't know, but Digibyte is a coin that I have a weird relationship with, actually. I'm not really going to go into it, but no, I mean, it looks okay. Like I said, I'm not really into alts. I'm starting to warm up to them a little bit because with Bitcoin going up, alts will also have a lot of nice opportunities, and of course we don't run the risk of liquidation with alts, and so it's a lot more stress-free in terms of that trading. So even though we're going to get considerably smaller gains, it comes at the benefit of not having grey hair. So I'm going to be signaling some alts as well. Digibyte, though, won't be one of them, unfortunately. It does run pretty well, but to me, it's probably a little bit too unpredictable. You know, the long-term look, it has a long way up, but Digibyte is a coin that will have all the right reasons to pump up and go to the absolute, like, moon to the power of moon, and would still dump. I mean, that's why I said it's so unpredictable. Personally, I'm staying away from it. More power to you if you make gains from Digibyte, but it's not something I'd like to explore. One of the alts I am very interested in, though, is Tron, because, you know, if it gets a run like it had back in December and January, and we can go long on that, you know, that's all I need to say. So, Tron is something I'm really interested in. It's one that I am learning right now. I think this has relatively predictable patterns as well. So, as far as alts go, this is one that I'm definitely looking at, and a handful others. I mean, if we just look at the CoinMarketCap page today, Bitcoin up 4%, and the rest of the market doing, you know, 6 to 10%. So, pretty good stuff. Digibyte up 11%, not 20, my bad. You know, it's good. I mean, when Bitcoin is rising, alts will also rise better. Dogecoin, obviously, the OG, going 15% today, putting everything else to shame. Again, if we could long and short that, quite amazing. But I think that is pretty much all I have. I do have a few more minutes to stay on stream, but I do have to hop off. I'll be getting into a call with one of our VIP members. Martin, late, that's alright. Watch the replay. EOS, not a huge fan, but I heard of links with PayPal. Did you hear anything? Semtex, PayPal hates cryptocurrency. They may reconsider that stance. I see a lot of messages about VIP, guys. I will get back to you at the end of this stream. I don't think PayPal is going to consider cryptocurrencies, especially something like EOS. But it's possible. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. What else have we got? Any other questions, guys? If you do have, I know I've been missing some of these, so feel free to repost them. Digimon, how can US citizens benefit from VIP? I think they can trade on leverage using Kraken. I've had a few US friends tell me they can use Kraken for leverage. That goes up to 5 times, which is very good. I always advocate using a low leverage because you limit your losses. It's good practice to have a low leverage anyway. But Kraken, I think for US members, check that out. And if it does work, get in touch. Either way, you can still trade, buy and sell Bitcoin using these signals. It does work okay. How can we get the VPVR indicator? So Iceman, like I said, it's a paid indicator. So you will need one of the premium plans on TradingView. Once you have got it, go over to the indicators button, type in VPVR. Click on visible range, and that's the indicator. Like I said, it is paid, so you have to use, well, you don't have to, but you can use the link in the description to get, I think it's like 30 days free. Matthew, yes, you can use a VPN. There are some risks that come with it, but it's, you know, I know some people who do it. When Moon Lambs. That's hilarious. Yeah, Lambos, I don't know, mate, but it's looking good. It's, you know, I would like to be bullish, all right? I'm personally invested in Bitcoin. I want it to go up. Yeah, I think it's, at least for the while now, looking good. Getting rejected at 6,700. Yeah, Kim, like I said, I don't think that's anything important. If anything, we're just going to consolidate a little bit and then go back up and test 6,800. What else have we got? Funny how everyone was super bearish just a few days ago. Yeah, Jaylee, like I said, I mean, sentiment does flip so quickly. The reason I'm on board with this sentiment flip train today is that the fundamentals line up pretty well. There's a lot of bullish news conveniently being timed right now. The inverse head and shoulders is playing out very nicely. This Elliott wave impulse thing, forgot the real name, is forming. Triple bottom has worked. Futures reversal has worked. And so it, you know, to me, it looks like we've seen it. It looks like we've seen the bottom, for now at least, and we're ready to rise up faster. So that is why I'm on board with this a little bit today. Martin, smash the likes. Thank you very much, guys. 400 views. If we can smash those likes real quick, be pretty cool. Look at Bitcoin long, please. Good suggestion there. I've forgotten to do that. So we had a head and shoulders that didn't play out. Longs climbing a little bit, but only to that previous resistance level. Yeah, I mean, if anything, this is a bull flag. This is a massive bull flag on the longs here. So it looks like they could really rise up. Let's check out the shorts. Going hand in hand with that, and shorts also climbing. Let's check out how that's looking on the 4 hours. So yeah, they haven't really been wrecked. That's surprising because I did see a lot of BitMEX wrecked tweets on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, both have a lot of room to go up. And what's going to happen is, if more traders do enter this space, we can see Bitcoin's price increasing while shorts increase and while longs increase, simply because more traders are re-entering the market. So if we do have some more life being breathed into this space, we will see short and longs rising, and so this part of technical analysis will become obsolete. I would be very happy to see that, because I hate doing analysis on shorts and longs. It feels so wrong. But it looks like that may be the case. And that's great. So as for that, I don't think we're going to be looking at shorts and longs as much as we climb higher. What else have we got? Oh, I do have to jump off stream here, actually, guys. Like I said, I do have a call with a VIP member. We're going to be talking about some BitMEX strategies. Pretty cool stuff. Guys, again, if you have enjoyed this video, though, please make sure to smash those likes one last time. Subscribe if you're new around here, tick the bell, and join the Telegram channel if you're not already in there. You do get my alerts, and of course VIP for those of you interested. Just go ahead and find my name in those Crypto Mafia Gold posts and send me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done with this call. With that, guys, I'm out. Peace.